Welcome back. Here comes video 2 as we prepare or continue our work to get ready for our final exam. Video 2 is going to begin our work on Unit 7, which is compound interest and present values. So let me fire up the visualizer here. And we're going to move in. All right, so this is the problem stack from Unit 7. And we'll do what we did previously. We'll bring in individual solutions. So starting with number 7, my man Huck Finn. All right, so let's go ahead, bring in some solutions and work our way through. All right, slide up Unit 7. All right, so Huck's borrowing 15,000, or I'm sorry, he's investing. No, he's depositing. I'll be okay. He's depositing 15,000, so that's P. And his interest rate is 4% compounded quarterly. Again, when you're playing with this formula, N is the biggest headache, I think. Number of compoundings per year. If you're compounding quarterly, that would be 4 times a year. So you see N at 4. Number of years T happens to be 8. So straight plug-in line, 15,000 going in for P. R at 0.04, 4 as a value for N because of the quarterly compounding. And that really means 32 compounding periods, 4 times 8. So again, calculator run, don't round until the final answer. Let it all flow through, and you're going to find at the end of those 8 years, his original $15,000 investment is worth $20,624.11. Problem 7 done and in the books. Problem number 8 is a little interesting because you've got a multiple stage investment. So if you look at the first thing he does, he invests $8,000 at 8% compounded semi-annually. So that would mean twice a year. So N will be 2. And he's going to let that sit for 6 years. And then at the start of year 7, he adds money. So we'll find, first of all, what happens to that $8,000 over that first 6 year span. So plug in line 8,000 for P, 0.08 for R, 2 because of the semi-annual, and then your exponent is 2 times 6 for that first 6 year span, 12 compounding periods, if you will. Calculator runs it out at $12,808.26. So as a result of the first 6 years going by, his $8,000 is now worth $12,808.26. And to head into year 7, he chooses to add an additional $10,000. So his new principal, if you will, would be that $12,808.26 plus the 10 grand. So $22,808.26. And he's going to let that ride for 6 more years. Remember, he's making this investment at the start of year 7. So at the end of year 12, 6 more years will have passed, wherein his $22,808.26 will get increased. Again, you see the same kind of a package of arithmetic. 1 plus 0.04, kind of the same addition. R at 0.08 compounding semi-annually, again for a span of 6 more years. So as a result of that second 6 year interval, if you will, or the one that ends at the end of year 12, his new balance is $36,516.76. That's the answer to our problem. So his 22 grand increased to about 36 grand. So that's pretty good investment from a man, Bob. All right, that's a solution for problem number 8. Let's go get 9. All right, problem number 9. Connie says, hey, I'm going to give you $25,000 to good old Beth, going to open her own novelty shop. It's an interesting problem because what she's chosen to do is figure out how much she'll pay back based on that $25,000 that she got from a friend. Watch out for the days somewhere in the middle of this problem. It should tell us whether we're going to do 360 or 365. You see, I'm pretty good about that. Ordinary at 360, 0.06. So it's a little painful to look at, 0.06 cut by 360. And your exponent is the number of years, which is 10 times that 360. So that's the 3,600. Calculator is going to take all the heavy stuff here. So you're taking 25,000 times 1 plus 0.06 over 360, all raised to the 3,600 power. Don't round until the bitter end. So you find out that that $25,000 will have grown and be worth $45,550.69. And that's what she would then give her friend to repay the generosity that she extended 10 years previous when she gave her $25,000. That's not bad. Solution for number 9, done and in the books. Number 10, the last problem from Unit 7. She's going to need $20,000 for a new roof. So that's a future value. So in the context of this problem, that 20,000 goes in as A. We'll be solving for P. All right, the interest package is 6% compounded semi-annually. So as before, N will be 2, and the need is in 8 years. So take a look at that plug-in line, 20,000 going in for A. P is your unknown, rate at 0.06, 2 because you're compounding semi-annually. Power up there at 2, that same value for N, times the number of years, which was 8. All right, again, remember, it's an algebra context, so you're solving for P. So we're going to take the 20 grand and divide by 1.03 to the 16th power as before. Run that thing and don't round until the end. So don't round off that answer for 1.03 to the 16th. You use the full display round at the end, and we get $12,463.34 is how much she would have to invest right now. So at the end of that 8-year span, she would have accumulated $20,000, and that would let her go ahead and buy her new roof. And that wraps the work from Unit 7, and that wraps our work from video 2 as we get ready for our final exam. And so I'm going to shut this video down at this instant. I'll be back in a bit with video 3, picking up our work from Unit 8.